Hi, this is Ian Westerman. I'm the head pro at EssentialTennis.com, where it's my mission to bring passionate instruction to passionate tennis players just like you. Welcome to episode number 36 of Ask Ian. Today we've got a great question from Dan, who wrote to me via email and said, any ideas for maintaining intensity during a match? A match is a long time period. What are some effective ways to keep the energy up as much as possible on each and every point? Personally, when the pressure gets turned up, I start thinking about the score, and then I can feel myself let down and be less aggressive. This translates into me hitting a short shot right in my opponent's sweet spot. Good players will take advantage, come to the nets, and put me away. All right, Dan, awesome question. And you kind of mixed in, these, in my mind, these are kind of two different topics. They're closely related, but they are two different topics. You talked about intensity and being able to maintain your level of intensity, and then you also brought into the mix what's really a mental toughness issue. So I'm going to address both of those two things. First and foremost, you must practice playing in the present moment, and this is something that I've discussed several times in recent episodes here, and it's something that I will continue to address, especially as I start to actually prepare for creating a full course with a mental toughness expert just for tennis players. And so this is a topic that comes up constantly, and I'm actually going to borrow, believe it or not, from my pastor. I think it was 2 weeks ago, brought up what I thought was a really good metaphor for this specifically, staying in the present moment. He made a statement that there's two worst days for you to focus on mentally. That is, yesterday is the first day that's not good to focus on. You know, whatever is in the past is done. You need to be able to move on in life and, you know, continue to do the best that you can on each given individual day. And the other day that you shouldn't be constantly focused on is tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And if you do what you're supposed to in each individual day, in each individual moment, then things are going to be just fine. Worrying about what will happen in the future doesn't really give you any benefit. If anything, it detracts from your ability to do what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. And so, so shout out to Pastor Tom there. So in tennis, it's the same thing. If you're constantly fixated on what happened in the past, and that could be the previous point, the one that you just finished. Maybe you netted an easy volley into the bottom of the net, or maybe you double faulted, and so now you're starting to have these thoughts of just not having very confident thoughts and being worried and having anxiety. And on the flip side, if you're constantly thinking about what will happen in the future, that is, what if I lose to this guy, etc., that doesn't serve you very well either. So this is a discipline and something that takes practice, just like your forehand or just like your serve. Just focusing on the present point and doing your best on each individual swing to just execute the way that you know that you can is the best possible way for you to play your best possible tennis. If you're constantly thinking about the past or the future, then I can promise you your level of performance will not be what it should be. So that's kind of the mental toughness part of it, Dan. The other part of it, you were talking about maintaining your level of intensity. And the most important point for me to get across to you here is that there should be a very natural ebb and flow of intensity. What you don't want to do is try to maintain a very high state of emotional and mental alertness and intensity continually throughout the entire match. You made the statement that a match is spans quite a long period of time, and you're right. It could be on the short end an hour. On the long end, it could be 2.5, 3 hours. And so if you try to be alert mentally and emotionally and engaged and intense that entire time, I can promise you, I wish I had the ability to draw this out for you really quick. I just thought of it. The result would be a slowly declining amount of intensity as the match wears on. Maybe you could maintain really well for the first half hour, 45 minutes, and then there would be a slow, gradual decline. There's just only so much mental and emotional energy that we have to give in any current day. So rather than try to keep a really high, elevated state, what you should be doing is during the 5 or 10 seconds that each point lasts, be as alert and engaged and intense as possible. But then as soon as the point is over, you need to practice disengaging and relaxing and being calm, picking out, a very simple strategy or tactic for the next point, and just relax, just breathe, and give yourself that 25 seconds if necessary. You have, I think that's the current rule, is up to 25 seconds. If you only use, 10, 15, 20 seconds of that, that's fine. But practice just completely releasing, letting go of that intensity. And then once the ball is tossed up for the next point, re-engage. And so this is more like high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, as they call it in fitness world, which is really short, relatively speaking, intense bursts of energy, followed by a short rest, followed by another intense burst of energy, followed by a short rest. That is what a tennis match looks like, both in terms of physical engagement, and also it should be in terms of your mental engagement. You need to engage intensely and then relax and rest, and then engage intensely and then relax and rest. And if you do it that way, then you can maintain a much higher level of intensity during your up periods, and then give yourself that rest, as opposed to trying to keep it up the entire time and then naturally slowly declining as the match goes on. So Dan, hopefully that makes sense, and this is helpful to you. And if you've tuned in today, hopefully it's been helpful to you as well. And quick question of the day for you, for those of you that are watching on YouTube, or I guess this could be on Facebook as well. Question of the day is, what is your biggest struggle mentally? Now, Dan just talked about his lack of focus in the present. He also talked about his lack of ability to stay intense mentally and emotionally. Please, I'm curious, tell me what your biggest challenge is mentally and emotionally during a match. Maybe it's distractions, maybe it's constantly thinking ahead or thinking in the past, maybe it's being annoyed by opponents. Could be any number of things. Tell me what your answer is down below. I'm really curious to see kind of what the most common patterns are. And if you have any other general comments or questions, leave those down below as well. Maybe I'll feature one of your questions in a future episode of Ask Ian. Until then, if you've enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and click like on YouTube. Also subscribe to the Essential Tennis YouTube channel so you don't miss out on future videos. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Take care and good luck with your tennis.